What's up, fuckers, and welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K22 Next Gen. Today we are going to be doing our first rebuild challenge in a little while on this channel. Today's going to be the worst to first rebuild challenge. Basically, the way this one works is in one season I have to have the worst record in the league, and then the next I have to have the best. To make this one just a little bit harder today, we're going to be doing it in a fantasy draft style where the CPU goes ahead and drafts the entire team for me. I know a lot of you guys do prefer letting the CPU draft the whole team, especially in these fantasy draft rebuilds where they might not be as hard as some other ones. Side note, I'll try to keep the rest of this intro really short, but just a couple quick things to hit on. One being there was no video yesterday. I'm sure a lot of you realized that. My apologies for that. There was actually two main reasons why there wasn't a video for yesterday. One being probably not the more important one, but the first being that the night before I had legitimately recorded a 3-hour 10-year rebuild. So I took a night off. Hopefully that's cool with you guys. And second being that I have COVID right now. So I'm not feeling my best. If I sound shitty, that's obviously why. I don't know if you guys remember in that 10-year rebuild, I was like, I feel like dog shit right now. And well, you know what? Shit happens. So we're going to be doing just hopefully normal schedule for, the rest of my quarantine. I'm stuck at home right now. Can't even go to work or anything like that. So it kind of does suck. Other than that, though, I'll stop with the annoying stuff. I know not a lot of you guys probably give a shit. So, of course, we're on the road to 40K now, and I appreciate you guys every single day for it. If you have not yet joined the community, we greatly appreciate you having you here. I'm all over the place. You take a day off from recording, and I feel like I've never done this before. And then finally, if you guys do have any other video ideas, feel free to leave them down below in the comments section. I apologize for the long-ass intro. Let's hop into it. So we're going to go ahead and randomly select a team just so you guys know that there's no cheating involved or anything like that. So I will close my eyes, as you can see, and we will officially stop this in 3, 2, and 1. And we end up with the Houston Rockets today. They're going to be our squad. I am not even going to look what pick we have. I will see you guys with this team. So I'm going to give some credit to 2K here. I don't know what pick we had. It does not appear to be one that was too high, but they went ahead and actually did a decent job at drafting me some young talent. That being said, I hate to kind of say it out loud, but I'm sure you're all thinking it. This team is not going to be at the bottom of the Western Conference. This team is probably pretty close to a play-in here in a fantasy draft. So I'm not going to let myself do the little cheesy thing where I'll just throw Jaylen Brown, RJ Barrett, Williams, and Jordan Poole on the bench and not let them play any minutes. And then we'll basically just go from worst to first just like that really easily. I'm not going to let myself do that today. So we're going to make it just a little bit harder, which most likely means that the 4 of those guys are probably going to have to be traded, which really sucks. I'm going to do a lot of roster studying right now and see which teams kind of sucks, so maybe I can get their picks. I was able to turn off previously traded draft picks, so every team does have their own picks. And let's see if we can find some trades. We'll go over the rest of the squad with you guys. If you guys want to pause at any single point in time, feel free to do that. But, other than that, it is a relatively young team except for Rudy Gay here, Nick Batum, guys like that. But, yeah, this team's definitely not going to be near the bottom of the West. So we got a little bit of work to do before we do kickoff year 1. So I went ahead and kind of looked at all the rosters around the league right now, and, the one I was able to find and the team that really doesn't look too good is the Detroit Pistons. I'll show you their team. Honestly, it's still a decent roster, and I don't necessarily know if they're going to go ahead and actually be bad, but I can't afford to kind of give up a season and not be the worst team in the league. So we're going to try to get rid of Jordan Poole. We're going to try to kind of combine the best of both worlds. Will suck, and the teams whose pick we're trading for also suck. So let's see if they'll give me their unprotected first here for Jordan Poole. They don't want to do that. You can have my first in 2025. That obviously probably won't matter by that point. How about just a couple seconds? I mean, can we get this kind of going here? It's Jordan Poole. Come on. You want Jordan Poole. They agreed to that. All right. So, we obviously just lose a really good young player in Jordan Poole. That being said, also looking around the league, we might not necessarily be as good as I maybe thought. This team's obviously still pretty good, but, there's a lot of talent on a lot of these teams, obviously. I think maybe this team could honestly maybe be decently bad. Like, it's obviously Trae Young, Cade Cunningham. I want to kind of give Valanciunas some credit, but how many wins is he really going to lead to? So, I'm kind of in a weird spot right now. This is also ridiculous having LaMelo and Ant on the same team. I mean, those Wizards are going to be scary in just a little while. But, I don't really know what other team here, just by looking at rosters, maybe the Clippers, but this team really doesn't even still seem that bad. So I'm in a little bit of a spot right now where I'm going to have to make probably a pretty tough decision. I don't want to say the Lakers here, maybe the Mavericks. It's just a horrible spot to be in, and it's not really one that I kind of wanted to be in. So obviously we kind of went with the Pistons. I think we still definitely have to trade probably Brown and Barrett at a minimum. So let's see what we can do. Making this trade honestly makes me kind of want to puke, but we're going to go ahead and do it. We're going to get D'Angelo Russell and the Spurs' top 3 protected first-round pick. This year for Jaylen Brown, I mean, I kind of looked at the possibilities and the trade options I had. there's really no way to leave Jaylen Brown on this roster and for my team to suck. The way I want to do this, I don't want to just plug in a bunch of like 70 overalls. Like I'm trying to actually make it a little bit of a challenge. Like I've done this before where I'll just move like Jaylen Brown to the bench, as I mentioned earlier in the video, or I'll keep Jaylen Brown on the team and play a bunch of like 68 overall free agents around him, and it would still be like probably the worst team in the league. I think that kind of throws off the, I don't want to say validity of the challenge, but it makes it obviously a lot easier. So doing this a little bit of a different way, we're going to still try to get guys who are very good, very serviceable on multi-year deals like a D'Angelo Russell, along with acquiring picks. I think it's kind of the best way. This Spurs roster obviously is very talented. I think adding Jaylen Brown to it's obviously going to make it even more talented. That being said, though, out of all the teams I probably could have traded him to, this team might have the best odds at a good pick. So Jaylen Brown, it seriously, it pains me, but you are now officially a member of the San Antonio Spurs. And it's now RJ Barrett's time. So this is the final trade we're going to be doing. Again, it's such a horrible trade. I know it like honestly just pains me to like look at it and actually make the trade. But, this trade is probably going to solidify us as most likely the worst team in the league, which is obviously the goal for today, along with acquiring another unprotected first. This team obviously is led by Kyrie Irving, who's one of the best point guards in the league. Then Tyrese Maxey here, Mitchell Robinson, Cam Reddish. So a lot of young talent. But I do think the potential is maybe still there for this team to maybe not be as good as some other squads. Obviously, we are giving them RJ Barrett, so he's probably going to be their new number 2 option. But, we'll see. Hopefully at least one of these picks hit. But as I mentioned, I had to get something in return for them. And it's better than kind of, I don't know, maybe just getting nothing for them and like just trading them for a bunch of scrubs off the bench. I think the picks is kind of the right route to take. So that being said, I think we're officially at a spot if we kind of go over this roster that this probably solidifies this team as the worst team in the league. That also being said, the way I'm going to kind of do the rotation is I am going to still play the guys that probably should start. I'm just going to go ahead and maybe not play them as many minutes. So that's not ultimately, I don't think that's necessarily a huge cheating thing. That being said, there's not a ton of quality starters on this roster. I mean, you got Rob Williams, D'Angelo Russell. You can throw Morris and Achua in there. I know Batum maybe starts sometimes. But other than that, there's really not a ton here. So let's go ahead. Let's set this rotation before what is most likely going to be a really painful first season here in Houston. So I'm going to go ahead and assume with the league kind of being as spread out as possible now, we obviously gave up 2 really good young players in RJ Barrett and in Jaylen Brown. And honestly, this is really not, a season that I'm going ahead and looking forward to, but it's one we obviously kind of got to get out of the way. I'd rather do it in year 1 than year 2 and only have kind of one offseason to turn it around. So this is a very, very bad kind of team to kind of start out with. That being said, I've definitely had worse, and I think there's a lot we could do with this team eventually. It's going to be D'Angelo Russell. Good. I haven't played Cold War in a year, probably. D'Angelo Russell, Kobe White, Nicholas Batum, Rudy Gay, and Robert Williams. I think that's the starting 5 that kind of does make the most sense here. With the way this team's constructed. Funny enough, it's actually only a 9-man rotation. We got Monte Morris, Precious Achua, Trey Murphy, and Dwayne Washington Jr. coming off the bench. So as you can see, I'm giving a lot more minutes to my bench than I typically do. That being said, it's kind of a mix of 1, not having quality starters, and 2, I think it'll kind of lead to less wins. So a little bit of the best of both worlds. We're also going to definitely get to progress some young guys here, like Dwayne Washington Jr., like Trey Murphy, and like Precious Achua. So they could either eventually contribute to this team, or maybe they could go ahead and just come off the bench for us and be solid still. But other than that, I'm really hoping this is the year where we suck. I'll see you guys at the end of year 1 here in Houston. All right, so year 1 is over for us here in Houston. As you can see, we were the 15th seed here in the West, and we were 30th in the power rankings. I am hoping we were dead last in the entirety of the NBA. Power rankings don't always translate to standings, but we will see. I wish I knew our record. I wish 2K didn't take it out of the bottom right-hand corner. One of the worst things they've changed about 2K and my league in general, or my NBA, whatever you want to call it. Really not sure why they did that. But Joel Embiid finally gets an MVP. Congratulations. Looks like he had an unbelievable season. Definitely deserved. Iowa wins Rookie of the Year. We obviously do not have the 2022 draft class implemented yet because this was a fantasy draft, and I don't really have a full roster with that draft class yet. Russell Westbrook winning 6th Man of the Year is in Minnesota, 79 overall Russ. Oh boy. Not a bad 6th Man year though. Giannis in New Orleans winning Depoy. So the Pelicans are obviously always a problem typically because they have Zion. They got a huge upgrade at the power forward spot with Giannis. And he looks like he's going to be somebody we have to deal with throughout this video, most likely. Tyrese Maxey does win the Most Improved Player Award. We actually do have that Orlando Magic first-round pick this year. We'll see if it ends up being good. Ime Udoka, head coach of the Boston Celtics, with a record of 54-28. Not bad in a fantasy draft rebuild, obviously, when the league pretty much evens out. Does win Coach of the Year. So it is officially the moment of truth. We're clearly not in the playoffs. We do not have to worry about that. Let's check on the record. I want to go ahead. I'm going to actually look at the East first. I think it's going to go ahead and potentially make this a little bit more entertaining because I saw a lot of losses through the season, but I don't know exactly how many. So the worst team in the East won 28 games, and that was the Washington Wizards. The worst team in the West, us, went 10-72. Oh my God, we were bad. Oh, wow. That's insane. Wow. So if you see the streak, we actually ended on a 1-game winning streak. So heading into game 82, we were 9-72. That is absolutely awful. But I think we definitely accomplished our goal of absolutely sucking here in the first season. Wow, 10-72. I feel like that's almost a little bit disrespectful. Like, I feel like the talent on this team isn't obviously great, but 10 wins might be a little bit excessive, 2K. D'Angelo Russell leads us in scoring. Really not a surprise there, followed by Kobe White. I mean, I guess when you do have 35-year-old Rudy Gay as your third leading scorer, maybe that kind of translates to 10 wins, but yeah, it's there's not much to work with on this team. It's hopefully going to be a very, very good offseason for us. But part 1 of this challenge is officially complete. Definitely the easier part of this challenge. But that being said, we now have to go out and be the 1 seed. So that's not so much of an easy thing to do in one offseason. Joel Embiid does win the Finals MVP award, along with that regular season MVP award. Congrats, Joel. And the rest of the Chicago Bulls. So we are here in the offseason. Finally, it is time to make some trades that I'm going to feel good about. And hopefully, we're also going to have some really good draft picks. So we're obviously going to be projected the number 1 overall pick. We are also projected the number 4 overall pick. So it looks like that Orlando Magic pick, led by Kyrie Irving, that team, was the only other one that looks like it's going to hit in the lottery, albeit in a really big way. So let's see what happens here for us in the lottery. Oh my God. I get screwed in all these rebuilds, bro. You know, you're projected number 1 so much, and I typically always fall, like, at least to 5. And then we also have 7 via the Houston Rockets, via the Orlando Magic. Steven Salas, I believe it's pronounced, doesn't have horrible ratings. That being said, it's kind of a year where we got to really kick it up a notch, and we really got to give ourselves the best chance of being the 1 seed. So I think maybe trying to sign Stauffer, which I haven't definitely not done in a minute, could be something that's really fun. We obviously have a huge budget to allocate towards him. Steven Salas. Mike Stauffer is going to come in here, and he's going to be our new head coach, man. He's getting absolutely paid here. It's actually funny. Who's the highest paid head coach in the league? Is it Popovich? I don't know if those are like contracts are actually public or not. I'm sure people can find them somewhere. Probably it might depend on team, but I don't know. You feel like it would probably be Greg Popovich. That being said, let's get back to this regularly scheduled program. So 25 and 28, you know, it ends up being a really bad trade. I think I sent, where did I send everybody? Who was the third guy I traded? I'm like blanking. Oh, it was Jordan Poole. It was Jordan Poole, and then obviously RJ Barrett and Jaylen Brown. So who did we send to the Magic? I think it was RJ Barrett. So funny enough that I thought those picks would be a little bit higher, obviously adding 2 star players, or I think it was 1. I'm confused. One of the picks hit, the other 2 really did not. That being said, let's make some trades because we got to do something significant here. And our first trade is going to be a big one. It's going to come here with the Miami Heat. We're giving up D'Angelo Russell, that 7th overall pick, number 25 and number 28 for De'Aaron Fox. We're also getting back Tim Hardaway Jr. Now, you might be sitting here and saying, why are you making this trade? Looks like a really big overpay. And, you know, typically I would agree with you. I think this is not necessarily the best value that I maybe could get, but I got to kind of spread around the assets right now. I can't hammer out trading for guys like Kyrie Irving or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, stars at their position that I necessarily have traded for in the past because I got to kind of keep all these assets in order to make trades for other positions. So we're going to get De'Aaron Fox in here, who's definitely a better player than D'Angelo Russell. It's not a shot at D'Lo. It's just a fact of the matter. De'Aaron Fox typically does progress, where D'Angelo Russell really doesn't progress that well in this game. Kind of weird, but we get De'Aaron Fox in here. We upgrade our new point guard spot. That is now probably 2 out of the starting 5 done. I'm very comfortable with Robert Williams. He typically is around a double-double. Obviously a defensive monster. Probably will still be very good enough to hopefully lead us to a 1 seed next year. But that is probably trade 1 of many to be done in this offseason done. We are going to offer the Toronto Raptors Monte Morris and our unprotected first-round pick next year for Tyler Hero. So we kind of are banking a lot on us really, really sucking next year. I mean, obviously, our goal is to be the 1 seed. There's always that little small chance that you somehow end up still sucking, but I don't think we'll be bad enough where it's going to hurt us ultimately if we somehow are not the 1 seed, because I'm definitely going to go ahead and build a playoff team. So Tyler Hero, reason I'm trading for him is just because he's such a cheap option. I might go ahead and spend some money in this year's free agency because why not? This is a 3-year rebuild. I really can't go ahead and save it. get a guy like Tyler Hero who does progress really well, does end up playing really well, also a really cheap option, I'd like to do this trade. So they're not really interested. I do have a couple young players here, along with Rudy Gay. I don't know necessarily if they're interested in him, but I'll offer you him. You want like Chris Clemens? Chris Clemens and Rudy Gay gets that deal done. So our new backcourt is officially set of De'Aaron Fox and Tyler Hero. On top of that, we definitely do need to figure out the point guard, the small forward, and the power forward spot now. Also, a lot of you might be asking me, what are you going to do with that number 5 overall pick? And my answer for you is I'm going to trade it. I would love to go ahead and have a rookie here and develop him. I just don't really have time for that right now. So we're going to trade now for either a small forward or power forward. Let's see what we can do. So we're going to try to get an old friend back that we started out this video by trading. I would love to have RJ Barrett back here for a very similar reason to why I wanted Tyler Hero. He's cheap, and I think I can maybe go ahead and spend a little bit of money in free agency, hopefully still. So Tim Hardaway Jr. and that number 5 overall pick for RJ Barrett. How you feeling about it? They're not interested in it. I don't really want to give up any other first just in case I do need to use them this offseason. Who do I have under contract that I maybe wouldn't mind throwing in a trade? All right, it appears we do have a decent amount of guys here. So most likely coming off the bench will be Kobe White. So maybe throwing in Dwayne Washington Jr. Wouldn't mind that 100%. Not my favorite trade. Maybe even Keon Johnson. Can that give me RJ Barrett? And it does. That's a huge steal right there. Not steal, deal right there, because it most likely kind of solidifies this starting 5, especially if we're going to go ahead and sign somebody big in free agency. So we're not drafting anybody this year. I know it kind of looked promising with all those picks. Unfortunately, we traded all 4 of them. Achua's coming back. Nicholas Batum declines. That's fine with me. And I'm not thinking that we necessarily have a max slot in a free agency contract right now. I just kind of was holding out hope that maybe we would have the money to either sign somebody and trade them immediately, or we'd go ahead and have at least enough money to maybe go ahead and trade a couple smaller players in this team and then have the money. So let's see some options here. This free agency class, unfortunately, kind of blows, as I'm sure a lot of you know. So this definitely could be one of those times that we go out and maybe sign somebody and then trade them immediately. So we do have money for a guy like Zach LaVine. We would have money for a guy like Kyrie Irving if we were even interested in that. There's a couple options and a couple ways I could do this right now. I could sign a Kyrie or a Zach LaVine. I don't really want to sign Harden just because he does regress so much. It kind of does suck. And honestly, he's really not even interested in coming here. So it's either probably going to be LaVine or Kyrie. That being said, they have 12 and 10 offers respectively. So yeah, this is definitely going to have to be hopefully one of the two. I don't really know which one. If I was going to get Kyrie, I'd probably keep him on this team just because he'd be clear-cut the best player on the squad. And it does not even appear that he's interested in coming. Well, you know, we're a second option. But how about Zach LaVine now? I'm just hoping I can get at least one of these guys here. So 4 divided by, what is that? 157, basically. Let's call it 158. 158 divided by 4. It's basically $39.5 million a year. So we're going to basically have to give him about $40 million a year. And I don't even know if I would keep Zach LaVine at this point. So I would rather have Zach LaVine than Bradley Beal just based off progression. So I'm assuming that's going to be LaVine, and it is. So we get Zach LaVine. Fortunately enough, we were able to kind of save enough money to have that happen, which is obviously good for us. Now I got to decide, do I want Tyler Hero and then trade Zach LaVine for a power forward, or do I want to trade Tyler Hero for a power forward and keep Zach LaVine? I would personally rather have Zach LaVine. I don't even think they're in the same tier of player. I just don't know if I'm going to get enough offers with the money that this team currently has and kind of how much, you know, I can go out and trade and kind of match with contracts to see what I can do with Tyler Hero. So I'll offer him in a first-round pick. I'm looking for a power forward, obviously. Like Keldon Johnson, I'm not really feeling that too much, if I'm being honest with you right now. I don't think that's the answer of going to a 1 seed. I really don't. I so wish this was a good free agency class. I really do. All these deals kind of suck. I mean, Desmond Bane is fun. It's good, but I honestly just don't think like Hero is going to be that bad for us. Where, you know, I think Zach LaVine, as I mentioned, holy shit, that's really hard to trade. I just might be out of options. Like, who are the power forward options here that I'm kind of getting? Like, Pascal Siakam would be really fun. I think he would definitely help this team. Jaren Jackson Jr. would be tremendous defensively. Just look at the season Zach LaVine just had, though. Like, that's insane. That's absolutely insane. Like, that's really, really hard to trade. It is. I don't know what I'm going to do right now. I really don't. I'm at a spot right now where we're going to have to make some... Well, hear me out now. If I do this trade, then I get Jaylen Brown. I can play him at small forward. Then I get some bonus. I can play him at power forward. You know what? This probably isn't the smartest deal in the world, but I think it's the one I'm going to take. Zach LaVine's coming off a tremendous season. This might end up biting me in the ass, especially because I think RJ Barrett would be really solid here as well. This is not a trade I necessarily want to make, but fit-wise, it's one we have to do. So we're going to slide Jaylen Brown up to the the small forward spot, where he will start there, and then I'm going to move Sabonis down to the power forward spot, where I believe he actually played a little bit of it, technically when he was still with Miles Turner in Indiana, I believe. Technically, I know he plays a lot of center now, but so it's interesting. I definitely don't think we're still done making trades. I'd like to bolster this bench a little bit, but we obviously kind of, no, I'm moving to power forward. We got to go ahead and see what happens. So I'll see you guys with whatever is next. We're going to be signing Ricky Rubio here in free agency. We still have a decent amount of money, like just about $9 million. So he's going to come in. I think bolstering this bench at this point is really kind of the best way to do this. We obviously don't really have a superstar on this team, but there's hopefully enough young talent with that and progression. I think with bolstering the bench, we could be in a really good spot. So Rubio's going to come in, going to be backing up De'Aaron Fox. We have Tyler Hero and Kobe White. I'm still indecisive in if I want to give Jaylen Brown a backup here. I mean, I wouldn't mind maybe giving Kobe White kind of the backup responsibilities for both Hero and Jaylen Brown, but that might be a little bit much. I'm going to go with Trey Murphy. So Kai Jones is gone. Azubuike is gone. I'm fine with Achua, and then obviously Rob Williams as well. So now we're kind of at a point where it's basically just either get picks or something for these guys, Azubuike and Kai Jones, because I don't really see a way that it would be smart for us to go ahead and kind of just keep them and not get picks. Let's see how good the Phoenix Suns are. It looks like that pick's... Oh, can I actually have that pick unprotected? That would entice me a whole lot more for Udoka Azubuike. They want Trey Murphy now. No, I'm not going to do that. I'll actually give you my first in 2026 if you want to do that. And honestly, I'll go ahead and I will give you Kai Jones as well. You want to do that? Cool. That team looks horrible. That pick could be valuable next offseason. So we're going to go 9-man rotation. We are hoping this is good enough for a 1 seed. We made a lot of trades this offseason, and hopefully they're all going to work out. I'll see you guys at the start of year 2 here in Houston. We obviously just made a lot of trades, and we are hoping this team can go from worst to first in just one offseason. So I kind of put together the best team I had with the pieces available that were still on this team. I think free agency-wise, the free agency class kind of sucked. So we had to make a tough decision. Trading Zach LaVine might come back and bite me in the ass along with RJ Barrett. But I'm very comfortable with this team. I think Jaylen Brown's definitely a better player than RJ Barrett. That's my opinion. I'm obviously a Celtics fan. I don't know how many of you agree with me on that, but that's my opinion right now. On top of that, I guess you can kind of say I took Sabonis over Zach LaVine, but it was kind of positional at that point, and we'll see what ends up happening here. So here's how it's going to look for the second season in Houston. Obviously, it's basically a prayer at this point that this team can be a 1 seed. De'Aaron Fox, Tyler Hero, Jaylen Brown, Domantas Sabonis, and Robert Williams as the starting 5. I'm playing these guys a lot of minutes in hopes that it typically turns out to more wins. The bench isn't too bad. It's Kobe White, Precious Achiuwa, Ricky Rubio, and Trey Murphy. So you got a guy like Ricky Rubio, kind of the veteran off the bench, along with some young talent here with White, Achiuwa, and Murphy. So let's see what happens. I'm hoping we can get this done. I'll see you guys at the end of year 2 here in Houston. So it appears as of now that we are definitely at least the 1 seed here in the West. It's obviously the entirety of the NBA we're currently worried about. We're also number 1 in the power rankings, which makes me feel good. Doesn't make me feel 100% though. Jason Tatum in a Milwaukee Bucks jersey makes me want to puke, but seeing him win an MVP award makes me very happy. Chet Holmgren Rookie of the Year in Toronto. Very solid rookie year. Zach LaVine moves to the 6th man role and does win the award. I'm not sure exactly what the starting 5 is. I believe they actually had Donovan Mitchell there, so that's interesting. I feel like you definitely could have found a way to get both those guys in there, but nonetheless, do you. Jonathan Isaac, Defensive Player of the Year is in Oklahoma City. Poku, Most Improved in Orlando. Taylor Jenkins, 63-19. We have Stauffer as our head coach. 63-19. I don't know if he's still the Grizzlies head coach. 63-19. What is our record? 66-16. Oh, he was still the Grizzlies. Oh, wait. 66 wins for this team? That makes me question some things a little bit. And I'm probably still going to have like comments saying that I'm cheating. So just so we're clear. I still get them to this day. I know 95% of you plus agree or believe me that I'm not cheating, but I still get comments to this day. It's kind of funny. So De'Aaron Fox leads us in scoring. Obviously, that trade was maybe a little bit questionable at the time. We end up picking him up. Yeah, what was it? D'Angelo Russell in the 7th overall pick. He ends up leading us in scoring. Jaylen Brown, Tyler Hero, Domantas Sabonis, Kobe White, Rob Williams, Precious Achiuwa, Trey Murphy, Ricky Rubio. Good old Bryn Forbes down there. So, wow, the goal is technically accomplished. Obviously, there's really not a stipulation where you have to win a championship, but that being said, I definitely like to do it. So I will do a 3rd season no matter what and see if we can maybe even go back-to-back. So let's take a look at the lineup here for the San Antonio Spurs. As you just saw, Zach LaVine just won 6th Man of the Year for them. They do have Donovan Mitchell, as I thought. They also have RJ Barrett, our old friend. Let's see. Excuse me. Let's see if we can go ahead and a little voice crack there. Sweet, still in the middle of puberty. So we sweep them. Here come the Pelicans, who do have Giannis. We all know that. Oh my God, really? That team feel like they could be potentially a little bit higher than a 4 seed. That being said, we are down 3-2, going to Game 7 here in the Western Conference semifinals, and we lose. We lose in 7 games after 66 wins in the season. That sucks. Obviously, the goal is completed. Our mission today, if you will, has been accomplished. But we want to go above and beyond, and I do want to win a championship. I was doing a 3rd season, shocker of the year right there. I was doing a 3rd season anyways, but now our goal is to obviously win a championship. So I do whatever I want with this team, which makes me kind of feel good. That being said, it probably won't be too much. I think there's obviously already a lot of talent on this team. Let's see. We are currently projected the number 4 overall pick. Looks like my take on the Suns sucking ended up coming true, and we actually fall to number 6. It's just, again, kind of one of those things that always happens to me in this game. Stafford not going anywhere was probably a decent reason why we were so good. I mean, he legitimately has perfect ratings. So we do have the 6th overall pick. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with it, but maybe we'll find a trade. Let's see. Honestly, I really couldn't find a trade that I loved, and, if I didn't love it, I wasn't going to do it. I don't really think there's a reason to force the issue. This team just won 66 games. Did lose in the 2nd round, which isn't great, but, we have the 6th overall pick. I'll go ahead and draft somebody. Maybe could use a bench piece. Rubio's getting up there in age. Along with that, maybe we get a backup for Jaylen Brown. We'll see who's available here for us. So Gregory Jackson is here. We do have Trey Murphy currently backing up Domantas Sabonis. Alzer Thompson's here. So there's some options. I mean, you obviously look at this kind of the top guys here. Victor goes 1, Scoot Henderson goes 2. Typically how it does end up working. There was Whitehead, Proctor, and Kaluma. So there's not really a huge, great prospect here, but I'm thinking that just because I can see that his overall is like, a B-, that obviously you would think that would translate into like an 80, but it's not how it works. But I know I can also go by like DE rank here. See, Anthony Black appears to be a high overall as well. I don't know, though. I could maybe stretch it to a 10-man rotation, but I just don't think that would be as effective as a 9-man. So we're going to draft Gregory Jackson here. Also on top of that, he's not really a guy I ever draft. He might not necessarily be the highest overall. He's a 77, as you can see right there. And, he'll probably replace Trey Murphy. So Precious Achiuwa, Trey Murphy will both come back, and then Trey Murphy will be traded. Hero and Kobe White, both free agents. I'm just going to give them both the qualifying offer. It's the final season, or unless maybe. Looks like Hero actually has he has no real offers. Actually, I'll pay him. I mean, I don't really plan on trading either. I'm not trading either of these guys. I'm not going to trade them, so I'll just give them the qualifying offer. Maybe it'll save us some money if we go out and maybe trade for somebody else. So they both come back. It's the fun 2K qualifying offer glitch that has been in this game for as long as I have played it, which has been a very long time. So that being said, we're going to make some sort of trade here with Trey Murphy. Necessarily a bad player for us. I was fine with having him off the bench. I just like to change some things up at some point in time. So Achiuwa is very good. He'll back up Rob Williams. And then Trey Murphy will probably be combined with Ricky Rubio to maybe get me some sort of new backup point guard just because Rubio's getting up there in age, so let's see what we can find. We're going to be acquiring Spencer Dinwiddie here from the Los Angeles Clippers. Me trading for Dinwiddie, who's now 31. Kind of throws my whole argument out of getting a lot younger at the spot, but I think Spencer Dinwiddie won't go down as many overalls. I think he's probably a better player at this point in time as well. So we're going to acquire him to be the new backup for De'Aaron Fox. We also just got Billy Hernangomez. I don't even know what other backup position I would maybe upgrade unless I wanted to trade Hernangomez and Gregory Jackson, but I just don't really feel like that's necessary. So, maybe Kobe White, who's actually been pretty good for us, and Hernangomez in a final first. Unless I see a really good deal here, I'm basically just gonna probably trade the dude. Is DiVincenzo 10-4 and what was that, 3? No, I'm not going to do it. So we'll just get a first-round pick for Hernangomez. It's the final year, but I just don't need him on the roster, complicating things. So it's fine. I'll see you guys at the start of the third and final year. It is year 3, the final season for us here in Houston. We actually don't even have a 90 overall or above. Funny enough, I was actually thinking about doing the no 90 challenge soon. This would have been a really good team to ultimately do it with, but That being said, we've obviously accomplished our goal for today. We're just now trying to win a championship. This team's obviously really good. Hopefully going to be somewhat favorites to do that here coming out of the Western Conference. Let's see how it happens. Here's how it's going to look, though. De'Aaron Fox, Tyler Hero, Jaylen Brown, Domantas Sabonis, and Robert Williams. The bench unit, Kobe White, Precious Achiuwa, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Gregory Jackson are number, what was he, 5th overall pick? 6th overall pick, excuse me. So we're in a good spot, hopefully, to be favorites to come out of the West. That being said, we lost in the second round last year, so we haven't even been in a Western Conference Finals yet. And we are trying to win a championship here at the end of year 3. Let's see what happens. I'll see you guys at the end of the third season. I'm not quite sure how I feel about seeing Luka Doncic in an Oklahoma City Thunder jersey. That being said, he looks kind of clean. Mavs fans, look away. We take the 1 seed here in the West. Obviously, the goal has already been completed of this video. The championship would kind of be the cherry on top, though. So Luka wins MVP. It wasn't a triple-double, so I don't count it technically. But it was his first one, so we'll give it to him. Scoot Henderson, Rookie of the Year, was the number 2 overall pick by the Denver Nuggets. Markelle Fultz, backing up Luka Doncic, wins 6th Man of the Year. Very impressive 6th-man campaign for the former number 1 overall draft pick. Anthony Davis, Defensive Player of the Year in Philadelphia. Ben Mathurin, Most Improved. Stafford goes 62-20 with us, so 4 games worse than last year. I'm never going to complain about having 60-plus wins in a season. So we were 8 games ahead of the Memphis Grizzlies, and we did have the best record in the league. So let's check out the numbers and see how we did it. De'Aaron Fox, Jaylen Brown, both over 20 points a game. Probably the best 2 players on this team. You can honestly make a case for like all 4 of these guys. If I had to rank them right now, first of all, I'm not just saying this because he's on my team right now, but I think De'Aaron Fox gets disrespected. I don't think he gets the enough credit that he does deserve. That being said, I'm still putting Jaylen Brown ahead of him. I'll probably lean Fox second. That's such a tough thing because they obviously all play different positions, except for maybe Brown and Hero, but you know what I'm saying. Who would I rather have on my team right now? Probably Sabonis than Hero. That's just what I'll say right there. I also think Sabonis is an underrated player in this league. I don't think Tyler Hero is overrated. I think Tyler Hero would honestly flourish somewhere else. Obviously, just won a 6th Man of the Year. He does flourish in Miami. I just think he'd do a lot better. Maybe in a different role. Maybe if he could be like the number 2 option on the team. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just sending takes out because, why not? I want to start my comment section a little bit. Somebody give me something down there. We got Utah here in round 1. Ja Morant. So obviously that is a very strong player, very good player. The rest of the team's okay. The front court's really solid with Wendell Carter Jr., Mitchell Robinson. They got JRE as their 6th man. So that's not maybe always the best route to go, but obviously I'd say they do have the best player in the series. So that's typically an advantage in the conference, in the playoffs. Did not work out here for them, though. We move on to round 2, where we lost last year. This time we got the Golden State Warriors, who are led by Jimmy Butler. On top of that, they do have Desmond Bane, Vucevic, and second-year player Jabari Smith Jr. So they do have a 73 overall starting at point guard, though, and actually a pretty decent bench as well. But let's see what happens here. I do think we're probably a better team. They definitely, again, much like the Jazz, do have the best player in the series, but let's see if we can kind of work it out. And we do. We're moving on here to the West Finals. We got the OKC Thunder, who definitely now have the best player in the series. The other teams did too, but you know what I'm saying. And Jalen Green next to Luka. Wow. They got Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Isaac, Defensive Player of the Year, Nick Claxton. They have Fultz, 6th Man of the Year. So another really strong team here. We're definitely earning this championship if we do win it. And let's see what happens. We go up 2-0 here. We go up 2-1, 3-1, and we're in the NBA Finals. We beat them in 5 games. I think that should have took a lot longer. I will take that, though. And here comes Cleveland. Let's see their squad. They have Fred VanVleet, Ben Mathurin, Dylan Mitchell, Ida Dick, Miles Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns. So Cat's definitely the best player on this team. We'll see. I'll be interested to see what they do with Miles Bridges for 2K23. I feel like there's a multitude of options, obviously. I don't know if he'll be on a team going into next season. He's currently a free agent. I feel like there's just no way if I was running a team, no matter what my team is, no matter how good, how bad, no matter what contract he was, getting, even if it was a minimum deal, if I was to hypothetically offer Miles Bridges a deal in the current state and, with his actions, there's no real winning in that situation. That is a PR nightmare. He's a very good basketball player. He just makes poor decisions, as you can see. So I'll be interested to see what they do in 2K23, whether they make him a free agent, which could get really glitchy and annoying at times, or if they just delete him from the game as a whole. It'll be interesting. Let me know what you guys think they'll do with them in 2K23. That being said, I want to win a championship right now. So let's see how this goes. We're up 2-0. We're up 3-0, and why not? We'll get a little bit of gameplay today. It's the cherry on top, us winning a championship here. If we can sweep them in Cleveland on their home floor, it would make it even a little bit better. So looks like we're going to be winning here unless I historically blow a lead. I'll see you guys in there for a few minutes of gameplay. Domantas Sabonis is currently at the free throw line. We're just going to make sure the starters are in right now. We are currently up by 12 points here with 4 minutes to go, so it's definitely not 100% over. That being said, we are in a pretty good spot right now. We make it a 13-point game with 4 here to go in Game 4. We are hopefully on the verge of sweeping the Cleveland Cavaliers out of their own building, which is always a really good feeling. Rob Williams going out to the three-point line is just so weird to look at just because Karl-Anthony Towns can obviously one of the best big man shooters in the entirety of the league, if not the best. So we're just going to kind of screw around right now. I mean, typically in this spot, I kind of talk about the team, but obviously there's really no team here right now because this was a fantasy draft. So, oh my God, Tyler Hero, who has 30 points in a closeout game here in the finals. Tyler Hero balling out here, and you got to love to see it. So I'll just shoot the shit with you guys right now. We'll just talk about whatever. Typically, this would be fun if this was like a live stream and I could shoot the shit with you guys right now, which unfortunately I have not been able to do as many of those as I wanted. Typically, I'm at work from 8 to 5 every single day. I get up at 5:30 every morning, so it's typically a huge pain in the ass to try to find time to live stream. So it is a little bit unfortunate, but maybe eventually one day I can do it full time, and I'd love to eventually have a career in this field and love to live stream every day for you guys. But until then, we'll probably only do a live stream from here to there, and obviously hopefully continue with daily uploads. But other than that, let me know some other video ideas down below in the comment section. I'm more than happy to kind of transition into the challenges, and the reason I only did a 3-year rebuild of this is because I did put out a poll on my community tab not too long ago asking what you guys prefer. The 3-year rebuilds, the 5-year rebuilds are kind of a mixture of both. And I think a lot of you guys did say a mixture of both, which I do agree with. I mean, it does kind of get old. I typically used to just do 3-year rebuilds for everything. If I did anything more than that, it would kind of be like a special, like, one-off video typically. I've obviously done a lot of 5-year team rebuilds recently. That's basically been all my content. And I'm fine with that. It doesn't, necessarily, like, take up my whole night if I had an extra 2 years. But I know 3-year rebuilds can obviously sometimes be little quick hitters, even though this one might be a little bit of a longer one. And sometimes people do enjoy watching those a little bit more. It makes it a little bit more stressful, has a little bit more pressure, and I fully do get it. So I'll probably continue to mix it up until we do get to 2K23. Once we do hit 2K23, then comes the time when I'm just in normal rebuilds with teams that are not like specialized 5-year rebuilds. If I want to make 5-year rebuilds like the new norm, or if I want to do 3-year rebuilds as I've done for the past 5 2K. So let me know what you guys would prefer seeing down below in the comment section for rebuilds in 2K23. I'm obviously open to whatever. Funny enough, you guys are only going to see this background for not too much longer, and then it's going to be gone forever. I'm moving into my own apartment. I'm officially moving out of my parents' house and stuff like that, which is such a weird feeling. I don't know. It's weird. I'm going to be off on my own for the first time forever. Like, I'm never moving back in with them, hopefully, which it's a very weird feeling. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of you guys know I just graduated college in May. And, big boy job, big boy apartment, and it's real world's coming. So it's a scary thought, but I'm looking forward to it. And I'm hopefully looking forward to continue creating content every day for you guys, especially with the new 2K. We might eventually go into some other games as well. I know a lot of you guys do ask for that. So sorry for the long rant. I know it's probably nothing any of you guys are really looking to hear right now. You probably want me to talk about the gameplay, but it's something I know I like to share updates with you guys from time to time, especially when I have an opportunity, which is not every day like this, and in this scenario specifically. So other than that, we'll do one more offensive possession after this. Of course, let me know your guys' thoughts on everything I kind of just mentioned in terms of the 3-year, 5-year rebuilds for 2K23, but I'm down to do obviously whatever, and whatever you guys do prefer. So this has been what the fuck? I don't know what that was. I just lost my train of thought by that step back from Sabonis. I'll see you guys in the finals MVP. We officially won a championship, which, as I mentioned, a little bit of the cherry on top. Wasn't necessarily part of the challenge, but it definitely does feel good. A good way to end the video. And Domantas Sabonis, finals MVP, ended that video, or ended that gameplay on a really weird, like, kind of step back shot that wasn't too pretty, if I'm being honest. So I guess we kind of technically completed 2 challenges in one video. We completed the No 90 challenge and the worst to first challenge. I'm not going to obviously count this as the No 90 challenge, though. If that is one you guys want to see, let me know down below in the comments section. As I mentioned, we're going to be doing a lot more challenges before we do get into 2K23. I'm not exactly sure what my count is on the teams that I haven't done 5-year rebuilds with. I've been doing them for like a month and a half, I think, maybe, if not that, pretty close. So I've probably done quite a lot of them, if not almost all of them. So if you guys know off the top of your head that I've missed one? And I mean, like, no, off the top of your head. Like, just scroll through my whole catalog of videos. They're basically all in a row. Because I'll still get comments like, can you do this team or this team? I'm like, just scroll back 5 videos. They're right there. And it's funny, but I do get it. People still want to see their teams. So if you know for a fact that there's a team I haven't done a 5-year rebuild with yet, let me know down below in the comment section. I'd be happy to do it. We obviously only have, I don't even know how long, probably like 2-3 weeks before 2K23, which is going to be so much fun. And I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, there's a bunch of new modes in there this year, and I'm definitely looking forward to sharing some of that content when I do play that with you guys as well. But of course, any other video ideas you guys do have, feel free to leave down below in the comment section. The road to 40K is official, and it has been quite the hot start, as we're almost at 30.2 thousand subscribers already, which is unbelievably fast. And I seriously can't unbelievably kind of understand how fast we move. But I've been rambling for too long. Typically, I start saying nonsense at this point. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If I did sound a little shitty, it's because I still kind of have, well, I do have COVID, but I have, a head cold and everything like that as well. So hopefully it doesn't last for too much longer, and I'll be back to my normal self. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.